Hold on, we're gonna. Welcome to Bigfoot
and the Bunny.
This is a couple's journey into the mysterious,
the unknown, and the paranormal.
I'm your host, Chris Carr.
And I'm your host, Kristen Johnson.
Together we are Bigfoot and the Bunny. Right on. We are Bigfoot and the Bunny. I'm Chris Carr.
And I'm Kristen Johnson.
And we are back for week number 2 of season 3. And you'd think we'd have this stuff down by now. As always, we're like chasing our tails and scurrying to get things together.
Well, it's our studio. It's brand new.
It's a brand new studio. We got all kinds of blinky lights and gear over here you guys can't see yet. We're going to fix that with another camera at some point. But yeah, here we are. We got a great guest.
Absolutely.
He's be joining us shortly. Actually, let's make sure we got him doing it. Oh, hey, little echo. Oh, dead air. Oh,
dead air.
Is the link working?
Dead air.
Okay, let's see if we can get him on. Anyways, it's Ken Allen is our guest, and he's a occultist who has been on our show before, and he was awesome. We had a really good time talking to Ken, so we're looking forward to this. And that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We want to talk a little bit about banishments tonight. Things that a paranormal investigator, because we know a lot of you are, we're paranormal researchers ourselves, can use in the field. You know, we want to talk a little bit about that and give you some ideas. Also, we'd like to talk about the Djinn with Ken.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see.
Couple of minutes.
Oh, you seen my message? So, yeah, you'd think I write like this big like introduction and stuff, but no way, man. We're like.
I'd like to talk about.
Oh, you know what? I think he needs to click join.
Oman Spare as well. Excuse my noise. It's having a hard time joining the link.
Hello.
Sorry about this.
It's all good. So, what else? What else have we been up to, Kristen?
Well,
besides putting together all these like little blinky lights and stuff.
Well, we did do that 15-minute session that we played last week.
Oh yeah. Ken's joining out. Yes. So we did some sound clips last week. If you saw our show with L.A. Marzulli, talking about like the Great Serpent Mound and
the Paracas Skulls.
Mm-hmm. But in that show, we played some sound clips, and I think what I forgot to mention is like we mentioned that we took a break and we hadn't been doing this in our mind, and we might talk a little bit more about that. Yeah, cleanse our houses, our souls. Later on, but that session in its entirety, which had a bunch of clips in it that were pretty undeniable, I thought was really good data. Anyways, we'll leave it at that.
Right.
It was only 15 minutes long, so
that's it. 15 minutes.
That is it.
We just wanted to see if we could still had
it. Yeah, we still got the gift.
Yeah.
And apparently we do, because it's a pretty good clips there.
Absolutely.
Anyways, yep, I'm going to bring Ken on. Ken Allen is the Muskogee Magi. Ken hails from Florida. He is the Miko chief of one of Muskogee's First Nations clan in Wakulla County, Florida, and is an ordained Catholic priest of the Magdalene Church, leveraging years of study and practice in hoodoo together with his Muskogee First Nations healing magic. He serves his community in administering guidance, counseling, and comfort through a whatever it takes attitude to get it done. His practice includes performing healing rituals, conjure, ceremonies, and exorcisms. A professional occultist and exorcist that has been a practitioner of the ancient arts of magic in one form or another since the young age of 11. Ken is a ceremonial magician practicing Solomonic magic, grimoire-based magic. I love that word, grimoire, by the way. One of my favorite words.
Mine too.
Chaos magic, invocation, as well as evocation magic. Ken practices rune magic, house blessings and cleansings, working with archangels Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, and Ariel. And we'll talk more about those archangels a little later. And protection against dark forces and helping trapped spirits cross over. He is certainly a dynamic force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
So let's bring him on.
He's very eclectic.
Hey there, Ken. Can you hear us?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, my friend.
Awesome.
How are you doing? We kind of stumbled a little bit in that intro, like, you know, I messaged you like, oh, I'm having a cigarette. And we ready. We're like chasing our tails today. We got up.
Yeah, I had to take a bathroom break and get a cigarette myself. But hey, we're here. We're on, right?
We're
doing it.
We're live. We're doing it. The Bigfoot and the Bunny with Ken Allen. And Ken, you've started a podcast since we last talked. A really good one, mind you, called The Wizard's Tale.
The Wizard's Tale with Mistress B.
Yes, Wizard's Table.
Yes.
Table. Right? That's table?
The Wizard's Table, yes.
Yeah, okay. Our eyes are terrible, but we, with Mistress B, and you and I were talking. There was a sort of a dynamic between you and your co-host that we seem to have too. You know, like you and I are kind of more into the sorcery side of things, and I don't know if this is true of your co-host, but she seemed to be more like
she's into she's got a degree, I believe, in anthropology.
That's right.
So she's like me. I
Chris is
started
very into that stuff.
Yeah, I started open wave classes with that as well, and she does candle magic, and she's wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's we're
like, wow, look at these guys.
They're like us.
It's a good balance. It's a good balance, and she helps me to behave myself.
Keeps you in line, Ken.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kirsten keeps me in line too.
Yeah.
So, you got that going on, and I wanted to talk tonight about banishments and things like a paranormal investigator, things they can use and take if they're interested in the occult, if maybe they, aren't that experienced with it, or they could try, because there is this thing about, spirits following you home. Attachments. And this is a very real thing. It's something that we've encountered ourselves. And it can be, for lack of better words, a real pain in the ass to lose some of these spirits, find strange activity in your home and that kind of thing, and things moving and it was unwanted, or it can get a lot deeper and darker than that. Certainly.
Right. Definitely. We've experienced that ourselves. So.
Yeah. Spirit attachments can be, annoying, from simple annoyance to very dangerous, to even a partial possession. And spirits follow you home. Some investigators don't really use any kind of techniques. They just go in, do their thing, use the technology, and leave. So it's very, very important to protect yourself prior to and especially after. You don't want anything latching onto you.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. And there's also this feeling out there, and I used to kind of be this way myself, where I felt like, I can handle this. I can handle anything, blah, blah, blah. And then when things really get awry, you realize just, how mortal you are and how, in a certain way, weak humans can be to things you can't see, and their power over you, and imagery, that can be shown to you, for example, like, they had that happen to me, just like the most horrific things I could think of are just popping into my head. And I don't want to go into graphic detail with it, but I mean, it really shook me,
bad.
That sort of thing.
But like Ken said, it's like it's like a mild form of possession.
Right. So we wanted to talk about some of the techniques and maybe things that you do, because you also investigate, and, what kind of steps do you take yourself?
Well, a lot of times it depends on what I'm getting into. If I have universal techniques. I love doing the LBRP, Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, or the Middle Pillar Ritual. Both of those are equally powerful and equally important. Smudging is great. Sage, cedar, Palo Santo, Florida water. Splash some Florida water on you, but bless your Florida water. You always want to bless it. Holy water is good. Even an enchanted a crystal, if you put prayer and intention into a crystal, and you carry that crystal with you, yeah, things like that, and they're not hard to do. It's really not.
Right.
Those things actually make a big difference.
And they really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, later. I told you I was going to make a quick video, and believe me, it was quick. So we were like, all right, just get your phone. Let's do this thing. And
couldn't upload it.
The cat's in it and everything else.
Yeah.
But we'll play that later just to kind of just demonstrate, like these things aren't hard to do, right? I mean, a crystal, holy water. You mentioned blessing your Florida water. Now, how would a person, that maybe doesn't go to church or something like that, how would they go about blessing their items?
Sure. I mean, if you are Christian, if you are Catholic, you can say the Lord's Prayer over it. You just put your hands over that Florida water and say the Lord's Prayer. You can say it in English. If you can speak Latin, great. If not, English is fine. Or a simple psychic transference, just pure positive thought energy into that Florida water, or even into that water. Doesn't necessarily have to be Florida water, although I do love Florida water. I love the way it smells. I use it all the time.
Do you?
Dude, you live in Florida.
Yeah.
For our listeners that don't know, maybe you could tell us a little bit about Florida water itself. I know it's used in hoodoo a lot, and I'm familiar with what it is, but our listeners may not be.
Florida water's been around for a long time. It's at least over 100 years old, and it's used in a lot of hoodoo folk magic practices. People use it to bathe in, to get rid of attachments, put it in their water. You can use it for mundane things, for aftershave, just to smell good. But yeah, it's a lot of it's primarily used in hoodoo folk practices and magic for banishment, for protection, for good luck charms. You take for example, you could take a John the Conqueror root, which is a really big deal in hoodoo folk magic, and you feed that John the Conqueror root some of that Florida water and put it in a green flannel bag and go play poker.
Right.
There you go.
That's very cool.
I think we have some of that behind us.
Yeah, we do have a little collection of stuff. We interviewed Kat Ironwood, a founder of Lucky Mojo Curio Company, some time ago, and there's a Dark Horse Paranormal podcast of that, and there's a little plug available wherever podcasts are downloadable. And one of the items, actually, I'm going to get it. The Chinese wash is an interesting thing we can talk about.
Here.
I love that stuff.
We do too. I use it a lot.
There we go. You're getting all kinds of curios behind me. But this is Chinese wash.
I have the exact same bottle.
You got this?
The same one.
That's great. We've mopped our homes with it, and use it occasionally just to do that. We'll put it in the mop water and mop. And you have you want to talk about that? Because
it doesn't take much either.
No, not at all. I put when I do it, I put I have a ritual myself that I do certain things, and this one I meditate before I do all this, and then I, get the intention, and take the bottle and just start going to town. And what I do is I start from the back of my house and I open the doors and I wash all the way over and just let it out, make everything go out. I do the door frames, everything.
Right.
Then
and
I close the door.
Toward the door, like to mop it to get it out.
I close the door. I bless the door, we'll say, and do a couple of other things, and everything's out.
Well, and that's another thing that people should keep in mind, especially when they're smudging their homes, whether they're using sage or cedar or a mixture of sage or cedar. Open your windows.
Yes.
Open your doors.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You're just going to have demons running around in circles. Open it up.
Right. I forgot to say that.
Clear
I do
a path.
open all the windows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's something people don't think about, I mean, I imagine that spirits can go through walls and that kind of stuff,
Sure.
but the self also, like your energy, you want to picture it and put your, psi or chi or whatever you want to call it into that and pushing that out, right? So it helps you visualize that, like, man, they're leaving. I'm
Yeah,
mopping
that's
up,
it. And you can feel
I
it
got
too.
10, I'm like,
And
Right
it
out.
feels great.
spick and span.
Once you do those cleansings, like you said, with the whether you're using the Chinese floor wash, you can mop your floor with Florida water too. That I've done that. I've mixed the Florida water, 3 pinches of salt, some of the Chinese wash. Mop the floor. Obviously, I sweep it prior to.
Sure.
Open all the windows and then smudge everything. And the intent you're putting behind that alone is very powerful. Those spirits feel and can pick up on that energy that you're putting out, that mental psychic energy. They know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I wanted to talk about too, is like the differences between, like, I know some of these things, but I would like to hear from you between using your own energy, say in a ritual or a spell of some sort, versus the manipulation of spirits and then necromancy and the using the energy of others, and how does that play out, like when you're doing that? I mean, is it your intent, your emotion is out there? In a way, are we convincing those spirits to leave? Are we working with them? Are we demanding?
Okay, yeah. So obviously, it depends on the spirit. Sometimes you can negotiate and they will leave. Some of them are very stubborn and you have to pretty much force them out. And your emotion plays a lot. Your emotion is a big deal. Whether you're doing banishings or you're doing magic for manifestation, emotion is a big deal. Your mind, your emotion, that's a tool, that's a weapon. So, yeah, we talked a little bit about the Djinn on the last time I was on, and
Yes.
where I had to exorcise a Djinn, wasn't able to do it. So I had to appease him by planting a blueberry bush. So some of these spirits, you can appease them. Some of them you have to force out. Sometimes it's a battle. Sometimes it's not. But yes, emotion's a big deal.
It's kind of like the language that they all seem to speak, right? Would be like kind of like your emotions. You might wonder, and I mean, I know this comes up in my mind if I'm reading something that's in Hebrew or some other language. Does it really, do they, depending who you talk to, I'm sure, really recognize the language that I'm speaking in, or is it more convincing me to help me channel my
I think
energy?
if you want me to answer that, my opinion, I think it depends on the entity. It depends. A goetic spirit, an angel, a Djinn, whatever, they think in 3 and 4 dimensions. So of course they can understand English. Of course they understand Latin and Aramaic, Hebrew, Egyptian, whatever. Whereas a deceased dead person probably isn't going to.
Sure. That makes sense. A lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They might just know what they knew in life, and haven't lived like the centuries. And since you mentioned the Djinn, let's cover that a little bit again, because it was so interesting to me. And, I didn't know a lot about the Djinn before you came onto the show, and I learned a lot listening to you talk, and did some research and about them having families, having a lifespan, if you will.
Yeah. So, they live in like a parallel universe. They have families, they have offspring, communities, culture. They love one another. They're more like us than not. They're made of smokeless fire. My theory on that is probably a plasma-based spiritual life form. They are ancient. They're old, old, old. The Quran is filled with a lot of the lore about the Jinn. Yes, they do have lengthy lifespans, thousands of years, but eventually they do die. And it's been my experience that they're almost impossible to exercise. hence the blueberry bush and the appeasement. So,
Right.
yeah, of all the entities I've worked with and dealt with, goetics, angels, whatever, I would rather not have to go to battle with a jinn. They can cause spontaneous combustion on a human being.
Oh, come
Wow.
on. I've never heard that before. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And there are cases of human and jinn marriages and offspring.
Really?
Wow.
Mhm.
That's interesting. In reading about them, they almost reminded me a little bit of like the Anunnaki,
Yes.
and the legends that surround them. And
Mhm.
coming from the same kind of Middle East, early civilizations. They talked about giants, and I wonder what they are. Have you looked into the Anunnaki and the Sumerians and
Nephilim.
that sort of thing?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't really studied much of, the Sumerians or the Anunnaki. That's something I want to do. I have a good friend who could tell you all about that stuff, up and down, left and right, circle, triangle,
I just
But
find it very interesting, and I do see some
Yeah.
parallels there. So
yeah, yeah.
you wonder.
Based on what little bit I do know, sure, absolutely. Yeah, and those Anunnaki, powerful beings, ancient, very
Yes.
powerful beings.
And very ancient, yes.
But yeah, the jinn are fascinating, and you definitely don't want to get one on your bad side. And as we talked in the last time I was on the show, I do have one with me, and he's been with me since I was just a wee lad.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you can tell us a little about that. And I do know the story of the blueberry bush. I think you had told us when you
Yes.
were on the last time,
Yeah.
and that's really interesting. It's almost like the offerings one might make to like a demon or something like that to like negotiate a deal.
You also do that as well. You have a
Yeah, I have things. I
Yeah,
have
I
I
have
have
things.
a demon. He gave me
Yes.
his sigil, and I have some things here for him. He
He-
likes gold, like plasticky,
Cheap.
almost
Yeah.
chrome looking items. So I have a few of those around the house with his sigil on it. But sorry, I don't mean to distract. I've had a lot of coffee today, Ken.
I try not to drink too much of it. It gets me too shaky, but
Yeah, I understand.
I'm
Me too.
pretty much crossed that point, an hour ago. So don't mind me. Sorry, please tell us a story about the Djinn and the blueberry bush.
Your
and
gin.
How
Yes.
you came to know the Djinn. And
well, my jinn is what I call him, my jinn. So ever since I was a wee lad, I had an imaginary friend. Everybody thought he was an imaginary friend. And a lot of kids legitimately do have imaginary friends. But then again, are they really imaginary friends?
Mhm.
Right.
And I would talk to him. People would witness me talking to him, playing with him, playing on swing sets and talking, whatever. One time I actually saw him. And he was short. His head was rather large. And he had two horns that came from here and went to the back of his skull like that. Like they were like two large cornrows. And they were like an off-white color with like specks of yellow inside of it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't remember the conversation when I first saw him, but I know we got into a heated argument and I called him a name and we went back and forth, but he didn't take it personally. So, but yeah, he's still with me and he has helped me. He has helped me on some of my investigations and exorcisms and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's one of the ways I was able to make that bridge to figure out what this other jinn wanted, the blueberry bush.
Wow.
Right. And how did you come to know that was what he required?
Yes, I was just going to ask the same thing.
So one of my techniques is I will get into a trance or a semi-trance state I'll simply use a hand drum, just a small hand drum. I can even beat on my chest for a certain amount of time with my eyes closed because I trained myself to do this for years. And 220 beats per minute. and it puts my mind into a theta state. Then I'm able to move outside of myself. And so that's where I was able to meet my Djinn, and my Djinn and this Djinn had a conversation. I guess it went well. And that's the message he delivered to me, was that he wanted a blueberry bush.
Yeah, I totally believe that. Like, I was kind of shocked upon meeting this demon. I have a name for him and such, but I was in a trance state, and I could just see him. I could just see him very clearly, and he literally showed me colors he liked, things he liked, like almost in like flashes. Like, and here's my sigil, and I just saw it kind of appear before him, and it was simple and easy to remember, and it's so interesting, and you can develop a relationship that way.
And
yeah, I have
he helps him as well with certain things. So
right.
Yeah, I also have a pretty good relationship with the Goetic spirit Ouroboros, the 55th spirit of the Goetia, and he's a demon / daemon. So I work with him quite a bit, and he helps to empower my magic or whatever it is that I'm doing. Very wise, very old. In fact, here's one of his sigils, if I can get it in front of the camera here.
Oh, yeah.
Ouroboros. You recognize that, I'm sure.
I do.
yes.
So when summoned, a lot of times he will appear as a horse, but upon request, he will take the form of a human or a humanoid figure.
Right, because they're shape-shifting.
Master.
Shapeshifters.
Master shapeshifters, yes.
Yes.
And he doesn't, there's no selling your soul or sacrificing animals or drinking blood or any of that foolishness.
Right.
Usually he just likes to be employed. He likes some wine, or sometimes I'll give him a type of mead called Viking blood. And he's happy with that.
That's cool. That's very cool. It's interesting how they convey that stuff, and you just know what it is. You just get the image and just know.
Yeah, and the grimoires, the old grimoires, the Lesser Key of Solomon and stuff like that, they're filled with information about the Goetic spirits. But once you start working with them, you find out a lot more than what's in the grimoires.
I can only imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
And this the concept of working with demons and Djinn and stuff, I'm sure it scares a lot of people. Like I was kidding with you a little bit earlier, saying, it's not every guest that can come on and say, well, demons aren't so bad.
Right.
Because most people run. They hear the D word. We actually did a series of podcasts called the D word series because, it gets brought up in the shows and this and that, and people are just immediately afraid of these entities. But they're not really, while they are not to be toyed with, they are not necessarily something to be scared of.
Right. And a lot of them, and I know you guys know this, a lot of them are actually very old, very ancient deities that have become demonized. And you can't put human morality on a being that's that old, that ancient, that primordial. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you think they came about through the collective consciousness, like people just thinking about them? It becomes an entity because it was on people's minds, the thought forms.
Like an egregor?
Yeah.
Sound enough theory as any.
Sure. No, there's a few
like
out
this.
there,
Okay.
but it's always one of those things I ponder.
Like this.
Yeah.
The Baphomet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So originally, and Baphomet is technically not an entity, okay? It's not a being. It's not an entity. It's like a sigil or a glyph or a symbol that represents earth, air, fire, water, male, female, sex, virginity, magic, occultism. It represents all of those things. But people have actually worked with it as an entity that I feel it has actually taken on its own type of consciousness. Unfortunately, the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey in 1966, really warped its true meaning.
Yeah, he had his own vision for it that is different. Mm-hmm. And it kind of did get into the mass media, if you will, and maybe, again, the collective consciousness, right? And people started thinking of it that way,
But it's not an evil symbol. There's nothing evil about it. But it's probably now an egregor. Yep.
Yep, bring in its own consciousness.
Could you please explain to our viewers what that is, McGregor?
An egregor?
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, try to figure out the best way to really explain it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. So, okay. So let's say I draw a stick figure. Okay. And I name him Moo Moo. And every day I go up to this stick figure and I work with this stick figure and I talk to this stick figure and I bring friends in and we work with this stick figure and we make offerings to this stick figure and we light candles to it. Eventually through the human psychic, everybody has psychic abilities to a degree. Mm-hmm. Psychic energy is this stick figure is going to be imbued with the psychic energy of all these people working with it. It's going to become like a PK entity almost.
Okay.
You see?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So for all intents and purposes, it will take on a consciousness of its own.
Do you think that when people go out to places like to research and do paranormal things, that say like, well, how about cults? We'll go with cults. They go and they worship this demon or whatever that they want to call it. Do you think that their energy gives it more chaos and it becomes bigger?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And more intelligent.
Very, very, all of those things. Yes. More energy. It makes it more capable, makes it more intelligent. Oh, absolutely.
Do you think it opens like a portal?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Places that are, maybe cults do gather. I mean, there's certainly locations that we've visited that supposedly, cults have gathered over the years. And I mean, it's a span of a long time.
Yes.
There's places like the Freetown Forest in Massachusetts and the Bridgewater Triangle, Spider Gates, which is a place we visited heavily, in the last couple of years. And there does seem to be like an energy there,
And when we go back, sometimes it's, to me, it feels even stronger than it was. So that's why I asked you that question. I think it does. I think, the more you feed it, the more chaotic it becomes.
The more it grows, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like like getting a hamster, but
yeah, I mean, everybody carries energy with them, whether they're just going to the supermarket, the mall, or whatever. Everybody has this energy field. So yes, all of these people going out to these haunted places, haunted bridges, whatever, Bridgewater Triangle, they've already got it in their mind. That there's something there, they're expecting something, and yeah, absolutely, it definitely feeds it and nourishes it and wakes it up. I had a situation one time where I had to go to this lady's house to cleanse and do an exorcism locally, and well, at first we thought, okay, well, it's probably non-human, but after delving deeper, we come to find out she had some mental health issues. So basically, she was creating a PK entity. And those can be the hardest damn things to get rid of because you have to work on the person that's causing it. They have to stop.
Right.
Right, right. And that's very interesting is people's sanity and having mental health issues, versus paranormal activity. Like a lot of paranormal teams out there, the first thing they'll do is they'll want to interview the person with the claim of like, hey, my house is haunted. Mm-hmm. And certainly a lot of them are looking for mental instabilities. And there's more reasons than the obvious of, oh, they're just crazy. They see things move or whatever it is that they're saying, they can bring it about
like if you
themselves.
Schizophrenia, or if somebody has, right.
Absolutely.
They actually really are saying, seeing and helping and, getting it going, the spirit, the entity.
Right.
And sometimes people with mental health issues, they're more susceptible to
Absolutely.
these types of entities and energies and things like that.
They could be more vulnerable.
Definitely
Yes.
more vulnerable. Definitely. Yeah.
I would say things like, I was just having a conversation online about this recently, um, being, intoxicated or under the influence of drugs. And we're not preaching over here, believe me. No, not angels. But, makes a person maybe more vulnerable. And I wonder what you thought of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but I have done ceremonies where I've smoked a little bit of, and
The good stuff.
yeah.
We like the good stuff.
Personally, I don't like it because my third eye's open all the time.
Hmm.
So I was just, it's just wide open to
Sure.
the point that it was so uncomfortable. But I did this ceremony, and man, it felt like I had energies coming at me left and right. And finally, I had to just stop and banish, and then wait until that passed a few days later, and then go again. Personally, I don't like to use the good smoke whenever I do a ceremony because, like I said, I'm pretty open as it is. I have psychic abilities. My third eye seems like it's open all the time. I can feel people's emotions. I can damn near read their thoughts. But yeah, that just intensified it to the point that it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, for you and people like yourself, it's probably more a thing of trying to slow it down, where you're like, hey, I need to turn this off for a little while.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. I need a break.
Mm-hmm.
I need
We
a break.
understand.
It can be hard, but that's where a lot of meditations, mantras, stuff like that comes in. Even yoga. I haven't done it in a while, but I was doing yoga for a while until coronavirus hit. And
Mm,
yoga is a powerful thing.
absolutely.
I was saying on another podcast that there are positions with your body that you can take in yoga that you can do to help facilitate communications with spirits.
Right, right. Now, you're doing the more physical yoga, or like the breathing, or a combination.
It's a combination.
I forget the terms, but I know
But
there's
unfortunately,
terms
it's
for each kind.
the yoga that I'm doing is the very westernized yoga. So there's not much of the spirituality involved in it.
Ah, interesting, interesting. It gets you closer.
My daughter is a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it. She's like us, and it gets you in the state of
Hmm.
relaxation and your intention. It's really great.
And it's a
I
workout.
recommend it.
It is a
Yeah,
Absolutely,
it is hard.
workout.
it
Yeah.
really is.
The times I've tried, and I'm certainly no expert in yoga, but I've certainly tried to go along with like a YouTube video and put myself in some kind of position. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God, this
yeah.
hurts. I didn't know I had muscles there. You know what I mean?
Downward dog, babe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
downward dog.
Well, I was doing it. I was doing it for about a year and a half. A year and a half before the coronavirus hit, and I was enjoying it. It was great. It felt good. Especially a couple of days later. I was only doing it once a week, which at that time was enough. But
Sure.
but yeah, yoga's very powerful, very occult and mystical. Not so much in the Western world because all that's stripped away, unfortunately.
Yes.
I imagine that would be something that is good for people to get involved in too. Just to be in touch with yourself
Hmm.
and the self realization and that comes with that. For again, somebody maybe who's in the paranormal and wants to protect themselves. While yoga in and of itself isn't a way to banish the spirit necessarily, the self awareness that might come with that
Hmm.
might help build your inner strength, if you will,
Oh
and your
yeah.
energy certainly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It definitely helps to uh, strengthen your aura. Your aura is a big deal. These entities and these spirits, they have to be able to penetrate that aura. Think of it as a shield, like
Mm.
on Voyager. I love Star Trek, so I'm gonna use that analogy. But think of it as a shield, like on Voyager or the Enterprise. You know, the more you do these disciplines, whether it's yoga or meditation, Buddhist mantras, Tibetan Buddhist, whatever, it strengthens your aura. And you should have a strong aura, strong shield before you go into,
Yes.
any kind of haunted place or even around other people. Psychic vampires, they are the worst.
Yeah,
Talked about that at one point on one of our shows. Yes.
For our listeners that might not know, how would you define a psychic vampire?
They're basically a person that may or may not be aware that they have the ability to damn near drain your life force, drain your energy. And it's that simple. And they can do it. They are real. I've been around a few of them. And so I used to go to this particular New Age store, local, loved going there. And there was these folks that hung around there. They were always there. And I talked to the owner and I'm like, dude, is one of those people a psychic vampire? Because every time I'm around this group of 3 people, I'm just drained. I don't want to move. I can't hardly move. I don't even want to speak. And he was like, yep, it's so-and-so. Yep, it's him. So I was like, okay, all right. And so I went home and I developed a personal way to protect my aura and strengthen my shield. Next time I was around this individual, no problem.
Can't penetrate through. It's like a force
No
field.
problem. Exactly.
That's great.
What do you
Shields
think
up.
of
That's right.
aura photography? That's something I recently did. Have you tried that? That's like the Carolyn type photography, aura photography, where they're using a special kind of camera to help capture your aura. Actually, I got a prop. I sound
Props.
like last week's guest, L.A. Marzulli, kept saying, I got a prop.
Got a
And he
prop.
went and grabbed something and come back to the screen. Let me grab that picture. Have you ever checked this out? So I don't know how well that'll come out because it looks kind of dark. Like I need to get the light on it.
I have seen those before. I've never had it done myself.
Who just ran their fingers?
Uh-oh. Disregard.
Who just ran their fingers
That fell on our sound pad.
through my hair?
Little stop in a moment. Let me turn this down. There we go. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I just hit it with this.
Yeah, I love the idea and the concept of aura photography. I don't know that much about it. I've never had it done, but some people can actually see auras.
Auras.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to practice that, and I found it was a little like, do you remember those pictures in the mall? They used to have the stores, and you would go and you would stare at the kind of the patterns in the picture, and eventually you'd see a boat.
Right.
Oh,
Or something like that. I don't know if they still make those, but they were popular. I'm showing my age.
Yeah,
here.
I was just going to say that.
Back when malls were
Old.
places you could go and walk around, and there were goofy stores in them.
Yeah, back when we could go wherever.
Right.
Right. It was a little like that. Like I would just kind of almost unfocus my eyes, like looking at somebody, and I started to see. It starts off as sort of like almost a mist around them. Is kind of seeing their energy. Now I never got good enough at it, and I haven't practiced it in a while, so it doesn't just happen to me now. But where I saw the colors and that stuff too much, and mostly they were like a blue or a gray color, and as I was practicing, I used to do this at work, just kind of look at people and kind of like try. What are you looking at, man? And I would start to see it, and it would
Good
grow
job.
a little bigger, and sometimes like. You'd see these kind of odd shapes coming off a person, and it was developing. It's something I should have probably stuck with, but
Yeah.
like a lot of things, I just forget to do it one day, and then I haven't done it again.
I've had that happen without trying, and hey, maybe I should start working on that more myself.
Sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's definitely something to it, and you start to see it more and more as you practice it, like anything else. It gets better.
Yeah, like remote viewing and things. Yeah.
And a lot of people, people that do it, they'll tell you that different colors represent different things with regards to your health, your mental, mental situation, your spiritual situation and placement and stuff like that. And I believe that.
It goes with like your chakras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure. Kind of what you're radiating.
Mhm.
This was nice. This was done by someone who's been a guest on our show before. As a local person, she goes by Occult Magick, and she does the photograph, and then she gives you like a reading, like a short reading after about it and stuff. And it's interesting. I've had it done twice. I did it years ago, and it was actually a hole you could see a hole in this kind of
Yeah.
aura stuff that was around, and it meant like something was missing. And I think that was true, at the time, and kind of represented a problem. And this one was a lot better. So thank God I've improved myself a little bit, 10 years or whatever. But it's just an interesting concept that a lot of people don't know about. But getting back to the paranormal investigations and the exorcisms, have you found that those things are tied together? You go on an investigation, you find that there is a possessive spirit or demon or entity, a Djinn at a location, and you exercise it. Does that scenario, is that something that you encounter frequently?
So yeah, I am not a seasoned paranormal investigator. As far as investigating like you guys, because I come from an occult background, I don't know much about the equipment and stuff like that. Most I've ever used is SB7, Spirit Box, digital recorder, and my own intuition and things like that. So I'm still learning the science aspect of it. And I definitely want to attack it at both angles, the occult and the science. Boom. But yes, absolutely. If you go to, what is it? Waverly Hills, just to name one, places like that, there's always going to be a very dark presence at places like that.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, I would think with all the chaos and
Exactly.
emotions and
Yes.
especially mental issues. In that case, out of an asylum.
Yeah.
It must leave a scar. It would attract the attention of some pretty negative things.
And then, I'm sorry. And then, like I said, and then people go in there and they feed it even more. So if it is chaotic energy, and
sure, they bring their own stuff in too.
Yeah, because they do. Okay, like paranormal investigators, when they go in there to get evidence or whatever, even if they're extremely respectful, these living beings, we have energy. We put off energy. Spirits put off energy. Everything puts off energy. Dust particles, to a degree, have energy. But these spirits, whether they're human or non-human, Djinn, demon, angel, whatever, they can pull that energy out of you. Have you ever been to an investigation where when you leave, you just feel drained?
Yes.
I'm sure you guys have experienced that.
A couple of times, yes.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And we've seen batteries drain and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Abruptly brand new battery.
There you go.
Energy sucked from it.
Yeah.
And
they're pulling that energy. They're using it for, not just for, most people think, well, they're using it so they can manifest. Not necessarily. They're probably using it so they can increase their reach, their grasp,
right,
their intellect, their abilities.
Right. To help, when we ask questions and things, and maybe to come through,
yeah,
to speak
it
to
can
us, or
give them that like a manifestation to show themselves, or maybe even like just to grow as an entity would grow. And there's something to that too. Sort of like a validation, right? With like when we're talking about these demonic entities that aren't necessarily, Asmodeus, but they maybe want to legitimize themselves and evolve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. You are a good man. You know what?
If you guys think so, just the two of you, I'm good.
Well, maybe Osmodeus thinks so. But
he might.
Yeah. So, okay. I believe that a lot of the demonic goetic spirits, when you employ them in magic or whatever, especially if it's something of a positive nature, that actually helps them to evolve. You see what I'm saying? That helps them to evolve spiritually, to climb the tree, so to speak.
Exactly.
From, what is it, Malkuth, all the way. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. By the way, Osmodeus is actually a Djinn.
Is that right?
Yeah, they got thrown into the goetic tribes.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Paimon, King Paimon is a Djinn who got thrown into the goetic tribes as well.
Wow.
But yeah, working with some of them, especially if they want to work with you, and a lot of them that want to work with you, it's because it does help to elevate their spiritual nature.
Right. Do you think if somebody comes in and they want to, like you do, and if they feed them the negative energy, they are more negative. Positive energy, they'll help you, and they grow more positive.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh yeah. And I think it's just that simple. I think your explanation is spot on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I wanted to ask you, do you still want to do paranormal?
You go on.
I
Whatever you have.
wanted to ask you about the painter, Austin Osman Spare,
Yeah.
and the sigils. And I believe he's the one who came up with automatic writing and started the sigils.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Austin Osman Spare would be considered like the grand poobah of chaos magic. Okay.
Yeah.
Because chaos magic is a lot of it is about sigilization. And chaos magic is real. It works. It's powerful. It's amazing. I have had some of the best results in my life working with chaos magic, combining folk magic, goetic magic, and chaos magic together. Ebb and flow, working together, in sync and synergy. Powerful stuff. Yes, I like his work. I think the man was amazing.
His paintings, some of them, the detail in them are just amazing.
Yeah, he was really a pretty brilliant painter, and it's good that he's getting recognized more, more and more as a legitimate artist, where in his time he did struggle with that, as I understand it. He was an artist, that was his main thing. But in occult circles, they talk about him with the automatic
Crowley.
writing and certainly sigils, and sigils actually were one of the things I wanted to bring up because that's kind of like easy sorcery to start with, and it's chaos magic, which, is more the newer flavor, if you will, of sorcery than, maybe the, ceremonial or ritual magic of the, 19th and 18th century, or even before that, of course. People could use sigils to protect themselves.
Absolutely. 100%, Chris. You're right on the button.
It's not a hard thing to get involved with. I actually wanted to use a prop again. We're into props too. It's going to be great for the audio. Like, what the hell are they doing? I have no idea. And basically, see how prepared? I don't want to lose your page, but you could write a statement of intent and just, if you agree with what I'm going to say, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say, because it's kind of like where everybody starts with the sigils, right? Mm-hmm. You would write out like on a piece of notebook paper, very specific, and specific is very important.
Yes.
An intention. I will get a job at CVS and get the vaccine or something like that, right? And you would write this out. Or you might even start it with like, it is my intention to, right?
Or you could say, I have the job at CVS and
right. Spot on.
And I got the vaccine.
Yep. You know what? You're right. I overlooked that. You want these things, and this is true of spell work too, that you want to think of them in terms of they've already happened. This is real,
right?
And make it your reality.
Because if you say I'm going to or I will, there's always the possibility for the going to or the I will to never come.
Right.
Yeah. Right. You leave a room in a doubt, and I think there is something to manifestation of, saying mentally telling yourself you already have this. You are
That's
there.
Right.
Is really key. And one of the things that I learned a long time ago, it made everything work better when I thought about it like, this is it. You know what I mean? And there was no room for open doors or mistakes.
You already have it.
Right.
And so just to finish up on this. So this, I just simplified it to, I have a job, right? So I wrote out the statement of intention. I would do a more specific one, if I was doing this for reals. Like
Ken said, right.
And then the next step is you go and you kind of cross out the duplicate letters.
That's right. Get rid of your vowels.
Vowels are gone. And then I look, and what does that leave me? I got I, H, V, J, B. So then you've got that as sort of a word, right? It's kind of a made up word, IHVJB. And you could take that and then kind of do an artistic rendering of those letters.
That's right. Create an actual sigil out of those remaining letters.
Right.
Right. And you can use pieces of them. You could do something like that. And I'll put a hook on it and we'll go backwards B. So here, I'm just going to try to do this real quick. Now, when you're doing this, you want to put your intention in and your energy into things we've been talking about, right?
Yep. Yep. You want all your intention into it and your desire.
Right.
So
you can light a couple candles, light some incense that vibes with you. With this type of magic, sigil magic, chaos magic, it's all about the mind. It's all about getting the mind in a place that is conducive for making this stuff work. And you don't necessarily have to call on an external being or spirit to help you. You can. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't have to.
Right. You can do it on your own. And
Yep, with your own energy. And so there's what I came up with. And you can see that does kind of look like I like it. Sigil you might just see, right?
I like it.
I would make these kind of things and, maybe draw a circle around them. I kind of am a fan of that, or cut it out in a circle, put it up on my fridge, post it somewhere where I'm going to see it, but not always be aware of it, but my mind sees it.
Right. And the thing is, you don't want, the way you've created it there is you don't want your conscious mind you want your subconscious mind to be able to read it, not so much as your conscious mind. Again, that's how chaos magic works. The subconscious is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It sure is. Like all hypnosis is based on your subconscious and training your subconscious to do things because it's stronger than your conscious.
Mm-hmm. And I want to be careful with what I'm going to say. But I promise I'll be careful. With a lot of sigil magic, especially in chaos magic, when a person charges that sigil, now you don't have to do this. It's a big misconception that all of us chaos magicians go around charging our sigils this way. Autoerotica.
Oh, yeah. There's an energy there.
A powerful energy there. But I don't charge my sigils that way. I don't need to. But some people do.
Right. To walk the listener into what you're saying there is the power of an orgasm. And we can talk about that.
Exactly.
Sex magic in general. And is a powerful thing. When
you reach that point of the big O, you want to make eye contact with that sigil.
Like burn it into your memory and
just
as and then you got a paper to clean it up with, which is just wonderful. Right? So it's convenient.
Oh my Lord. But not all of us chaos magicians do that,
I like the image of it though, but it is something people do and it's totally legit. Absolutely.
It is a legitimate magical practice and it's not limited to sigils and chaos magic.
Right.
So
absolutely. No, it's cool. Thank you for bringing up that point. We're not really a family show. We just kind of, we're on a lot of different outlets, so I'd just be careful with that. But certainly sex magic is a thing. I would like to do a show just on that. We've experimented with it ourselves. And great results. And we have fun doing it.
Well, definitely, it is powerful stuff, and to get a little more intense, there is some forms of sex magic where there is bloodletting involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Nothing dangerous.
Sorcery is a thing. See, she says no, but I say yep. See, our balance. I'm like,
where you were going with that. That's why I'm like, no, don't say it.
I don't have issues with that. But absolutely. It's like a tiny death. Somebody described it to me once. When you just even using like the little pricks there for the
diabetes.
For your diabetes. I can't think of that.
Yeah. I mean, and it can be done safely. You know, one of the things I want to do on the wizard's table is I would like to bring on a modern vampire.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
because there are some of these modern vampires actually do have a physiological response to the drinking of blood.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's been measured, it's been monitored.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been acquainted with such people,
Mhm.
and have witnessed magic after the drinking of blood, like as it gives them an energy that was undeniable. They could show you
Yeah,
in front of you. I mean, I'm talking like telekinesis and
Mhm.
absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And,
I
and
also,
things people wouldn't believe if they didn't see it.
right.
Right.
I also wanted to bring up something. I think you wanted me to talk about it. We had talked just a little bit behind the scenes about my situation when I had to banish an angel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think we did. Touch
That's
on that.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. And that immediately makes people think, what? Banish an angel?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right ahead.
People have a hard time of wrapping their head around that. But you
Yeah.
know, not all angels are good, and not all demons are bad. So, um, I'm not going to say a whole lot because I don't want to give out locations or names or anything like that. I always try to protect the people that I help in that regard. There was a Catholic church, and it had been a Catholic church for 50, maybe 60 years, something like that. And I don't know what happened, but it closed down or they moved away or something. I don't know. And it was converted into a private residence. So the people started experiencing paranormal activity, poltergeist-like activity. Nobody was getting scratched or hurt or anything like that. They were being touched. They were hearing knocking noises. Books were falling. They would witness photograph, pictures on the wall. Just they would see figures just rush by because one of the occult theories is that angels can travel at the speed of light. So they were just seeing flashes of light. Anyway, there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of paranormal activity going on.
Yeah.
But it was really nothing that I would consider dangerous. Scary for them, sure. When you see pictures flying off the wall, when you're being touched out of the blue, hell yeah, it's going to scare you.
Yeah. We know.
Right.
Absolutely.
You guys do know.
Yeah.
So, I used my, tried and true trick and got into the trance state and found out it was an angel. And he was basically annoyed because it was no longer a church. And he was attached to that church, So I kind of felt bad for him in a way, but he didn't want to leave. So what did I do? I contacted Orobos, the 55th demon of the Goetia. And me and him worked together to banish the angel and to send him on his way.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that
Incredible.
story, and because I've heard you tell it on other podcasts, and it
Yep.
just blows me away every time I hear it because it's like, really, you're using a goetic demon to banish an angel, and it's that we can call that common practice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's something that a lot of people don't hear about, or and I'm not the first one who's done that, but a lot of people are scared to talk about it because they don't want to be accused of worshiping the devil.
Right.
Sure, there's going to be
Yeah.
all kinds of stigmas.
Because when you say stuff, well, I banished an angel with a demon, it's so simple for people to go to devil worship. No, I do not worship the devil. I do not work with any kind of entity called Satan, and I have no reason to.
Right.
Right, right. Speaking of that, Satan, origins of the word Satan, does that not come from a Djinn?
Does Shayatan. Shayatan.
So is that a different kind of Djinn, or are there different kinds?
Yeah, there's different kinds of jinns. There's like the Ifrits, which they're pretty badass, actually. And there's the Shayatans, but this one was the Shayatan. And of course, the origin of Satan comes from Set, Setian, Egyptian.
Egyptian.
So
Yeah.
it's all tied in together.
It's strange how it goes back like that, right?
Yeah. Then,
Mhm.
yeah, Babylonian times and super.
Yeah,
and
we're out there in Egypt
all the
and
same.
you know,
Yeah.
Northern
Concept,
Africa and the Middle
basically.
East, and yeah,
All those areas. Yeah, it's all tied together somehow.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, Ahriman and Ahura Mazda, from Zoroastrianism,
Right.
you know.
hmm
Ahriman was, for all intents and purposes, the Satan.
right, right,
And I strongly, strongly believe that the origins of Christianity comes from Zoroastrianism.
Absolutely. I actually agree with that.
There's just too much similarity there.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
There is, and there is in the tales that were told at those times, and that kind of speaks to that Anunnaki thing we were talking
Mhm.
about a
Right.
little bit earlier.
Right.
You know, about the great floods, and you talk about ancient civilizations and that sort of thing. It's like it carries through different religions, and you know, people who never knew each other are writing about this, you know, massive flood. You know,
Yeah.
not
Every
to say
book.
that there was a
Oh.
necessarily a Noah with a boat and like
Right.
two of each animal. That would be a pretty big boat. But,
Every
Yeah. You
one,
know,
every religion has like
They
the
have a
great
story,
deluge, you know.
yeah,
They all have it.
the flood.
even native, even indigenous. Oh, by the way, the word is Muskogee, but that's okay.
You did that too. I did that last time. So sorry, Ken.
It's fine. Even among the Muskogee tribes, there was a great deluge. It's everywhere. It's
Yes.
everywhere.
It's like you said. It's
Yeah.
all, it seems to be all connected.
Ancient Greece,
Mm-hmm.
deluge in the Grecian mythologies, Roman mythologies. It's all there. So
Right.
and then you get into that, and you could get into Atlantis and all that other stuff too. So
Sure, Moo.
Yeah, the island of Mu, Lemuria.
right, and then you can get into where did the Atlanteans come from? They came from Mars. I don't know.
Right. Nobody
from
knows.
Atlanta.
Nobody has all the answers. But it's interesting how, a lot of this stuff does fit together.
Mhm.
You know.
It's all connected.
It's a big puzzle. I had a Jotun tell me one time. You know what a Jotun is?
No, maybe you could.
A Jotun is an elder god of the Norse pantheon.
Okay.
I should know that.
Like like Angrboda or Loki. Those are Jotuns. And I'm not talking about the Marvel comic stuff. I'm talking about the real lore,
Right.
the
yeah.
sagas, the ancient sagas.
Pantheon. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. So you have the tribe. You have three tribes of gods. You have the Asir, the Vanir, and the Jotun or Jotunar. And I traveled outside of myself. They call it Seth or Sather, Sathamadr. I sat outside of myself. You can read about this in the ancient sagas when the Volva talks to Odin and prophesizes to Odin. She says, "I sat outside of myself when you came to see me, Odin." She was prophesying from the beginning of creation to Ragnarok. So anyway, I met this Jotun, gods, deities, whatever. I refer them all to as spirits, basically. So, and it's so simple. She basically told me that all things are connected all the time. And it's just a simple, simple truth. It really is.
I definitely agree with that. We both do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people
Everything.
use the word like source now, goes back to source.
Mhm.
Like Teal Swan in that book,
Mm.
she talks about everything being source, and I just kind of rejoin the source, and it's a kind of new agey concept, but it is some truth to that. It is like everything is connected, and
Like the great singularity.
right,
Yeah.
Mike Markowitz said that to us.
absolutely, and one thing affects another. So if
Right.
you make a change in reality, you actually create a change, right, through magic.
Hmm.
Sorcery, that is felt by other people.
Yeah.
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 And,
Yeah,
and
so-
it's, it's not a metaphor. The change is real. Like we're attached to each other, more or less.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Like a ripple effect almost, and
Yeah, absolutely. So getting back to the guy out there who's, joined a paranormal team and they're going on their first investigation. And he's got his crystal, he's blessed it. And maybe what are some other things he could do to protect himself going in, coming out, or the steps that you take when you go somewhere, or steps you would recommend, especially like a newbie type person?
Well, first of all, they need to show respect. They don't need to go in there screaming or getting frustrated if the spirit doesn't act on command or whatever.
Right.
Get out here, I dare you, da 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 da. That's foolishness.
Absolutely.
That is ridiculous. It's disrespectful, and you're asking for an ass whooping, okay?
That's right.
And if you do that, I hope you get one.
Yeah.
So, if you do that, you deserve it. But,
that's right. It's taunting them, and you don't do that. It's really disrespectful.
Right. And there's a lot of shows out there that do that.
Right.
Right. It has been definitely glorified and on TV to some degree at, specific shows and all.
And some of them will taunt demonic entities. You really don't want to do that, bro. They are far, far older than you are.
Right. More
Trust
powerful.
me. They got more tricks up their sleeve than you could possibly imagine. You don't want to do that.
No.
So yeah, respect is a good thing. Your mindset when you go in there is a big deal. They know that, especially the non-human entities, and there's always going to be one, especially at these big places. There's going to be one somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, respect for the human dead, respect for the non-human dead or the non-human spirits. So respect's a big thing. Lesser banishing ritual of the Pentagram. It's simple. You can look it up on YouTube. You can private message me. I'll teach you how to do it. The middle pillar ritual, just as effective. Lighting a white candle. And
sure. Purity.
Petitioning your ancestors.
Yes.
Just a simple ancestor shrine, a white candle, a cup of water, some mementos and some pictures of what they liked in life, and a cigar, a little Jack Daniels for great uncle, whatever.
Yeah, we do that as well. We call upon the ancestors. And
the ancestral altars,
we buy nips
wonderful.
of what is it? Whatever rum, and we give them offerings and tobacco and flowers for the women. So we're very respectful in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. People need to be respectful and understand that, for one thing, you should be respectful of your elders, period, right?
Right.
So, these people, if you're in a cemetery, you're doing an investigation there, you need to really be respectful of the people that are there because, that's where their family visits them, even if it's ancient. You just got to respect them, Don't go in there yelling. And I have seen this, people emulating the TV shows, and they go, "Yeah, you're doing it. Come forth, I dare you," and that kind of stuff. And
not right at all.
Swearing at them, and it's terrible, and it is disrespectful. Just 100% agree, man.
It's disrespectful, and something is going to follow you home.
That's right.
And I've had to help other investigators with that situation because they didn't act right, or they just threw caution to the wind and didn't do anything. When I go into a cemetery, even if it's just to visit someone, to pay respects, if there's a gate or a wall or whatever, I will knock 3 times. That's old tradition, to knock 3 times to announce yourself, to say, yes, I'm coming in. It's like asking for permission to come in to the cemetery.
Sure.
And it's very respectful to do that. Some people, I don't usually do it, but some people will walk out of the cemetery backwards to keep a spirit from attaching to them.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of that. Yeah. Like some witches too have used that process of walking backwards in a circle. And there's a name for that, and I don't remember.
I forgot right now.
I read about it a long time ago, but yeah, there was a whole thing with that, walking backwards and walking
or
backwards.
leaving 3 pennies at the gate of the cemetery, when you go in. And in hoodoo magic or folk magic in general, graveyard dirt's a big deal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
It is a big deal. So if you go to a graveyard and you want to get graveyard dirt for protection, you go where there's a soldier buried, or a police officer, or even a relative. But you always want to pay them. You can pay them with a small bowl of milk, some coins, flowers, a little bit of liquor, all the above.
Right. Tobacco.
Tobacco. You better pay for that dirt, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
Better
it's
pay
like
for
a
that dirt.
transaction.
We
Why not?
actually
Now-
asked permission or so.
Now, on the darker side of that, if you're wanting to use graveyard dirt to curse someone, then you go to somebody who's not so nice. Maybe somebody that's a serial killer or just was a hateful person in life, and get some of their dirt. You still have to leave an offering, though.
Right.
Yeah, it would be wise.
But
Serial
graveyard
killer. Yeah.
Hey, give
Yeah.
me my dirt back.
graveyard dirt's a big deal. And I don't like to use it unless I really don't have a choice. But in a lot of folk magic practices, mullein is used as a substitute for graveyard dirt.
Right. I've seen that, and that's something people buy online that don't really want to go into the. I mean, I remember the first time I took graveyard dirt, and I was like, it's late at night. I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my god! I got a little garden shovel with me in a jar. I thought for sure, like, oh man, I'm going to get arrested here. But
Oh yeah, they would have for sure thought you were trying to dig somebody up.
yeah, right. Grave robber. I just want this little dirt, no fed bag.
But yeah,
But
mullein. If you can't get it for whatever reason, the spirits will probably be receptive to the mullein if you have to do that. Crossroads dirt,
Oh, yes.
very powerful
Big one.
stuff. That's a big deal. Get it. I usually like to get it from the center of the crossroads or the west side of the crossroads.
Interesting. Yeah, I know that permeates a lot of hoodoo, right? And
Yeah.
people bury things at crossroads as well.
Yes.
They bury things at crossroads, and absolutely. So if you've done a hoodoo spell, good or ill, and you want to get rid of it, you take it and you bury it at a crossroads. Now, when you bury it at that crossroads, first of all, you do not look back. Not even in your rear view mirror. Don't look back, and go home a different way that you came to that road. Go
Excellent.
home a different way, because it's the intersection,
Right.
between the living, the realm of the living, and the realm of the dead. Crossroads magic is a big deal. Papa Legba, Saint Peter Legbas, he is the Lord and the Master of the crossroads in the
Excellent.
hoodoo tradition.
That
And in
kind of
the
brings
voodoo
up.
tradition.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that kind of brings up the point of like a lot of hoodoo and a lot of magic. A lot of times when we talk about cursing, I wanted to maybe talk to you a little bit about that because some people will say, "Oh, you never curse," and you can talk about like the witches read and all that kind of thing, and it's going to come back on you 7 times. Blah blah blah.
Karma.
Karma. Or I kind of of the mind that you should think about these things before and not use magic as a reactive tool. In other words, reactive magic is bad magic in my opinion. Like, I'm angry, I'm gonna get that person, immediately do this thing
Like a revenge.
because they're mad for
you're-
a day, and then later maybe have regrets that, geez, it actually worked.
Right. And like
Yeah.
you do it like right then and there when you're all pissed off or whatever. And, I don't think
Yeah, I was wondering your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on the situation. Okay, it depends on the situation. If somebody cuts you off in traffic or shoots you a bird or cusses you or whatever, no, you don't want to do that. Come on, get real.
Come on.
And if somebody does do something or has done something to you that really gets under your skin, wait a few days and see how you feel.
True.
But there are sometimes situations where cursing is the only answer. It's the only course of action you can take to defend yourself or a loved one. If you know that that there's an individual or an agency that is going to harm you or harm your loved ones, absolutely. Yes. I think that there are times when curses are 100% justifiable.
That
Just
I
as
agree with.
blessings are.
Sure. Eye for an eye, right?
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to, again, depending on the situation, I like to start out with a good, strong binding. Bind that person where they are unable to act. You know, you can go to a ditch and get stagnant water, put someone's picture inside of a bottle of that stagnant water, and that will bind them.
Thank you.
Kristen makes a note. I'm getting scared over here, Ken. You know, be
No,
careful what you
Kristen made
say.
it- No, I'm going to do that.
I'm
No,
just kidding. Stagnant water, check.
But there's thousands and thousands of different ways to bind someone, thousands of different ways to curse someone, thousands of different ways to bless someone, thousands of different ways to protect yourself from people and from spirits,
Or
you
from
know,
somebody putting a curse on you.
or from someone putting a curse on you. Uncrossing spells. You can use black candles to uncross yourself. Some of them are simple. Some of them can get extremely complex.
Oh my gosh, I've seen a whole bunch of them. They're just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like for a month. I'm like, no.
No, I practice ceremonial magic, but look, I don't have time to go through all these cleansings and prayers for 3 months before,
Right.
before I call upon one entity. No,
Right.
I
No.
chaos magic that junk, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
We agree.
Folk magic, hands on. Let's get this done.
But I do try to stick by the moon phases. I do try to stay true to the moon phases. But sometimes, and I've said this on other podcasts, sometimes you don't have time to wait for moon phases. You just have to act.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yes.
And as a basic theory I've always heard, and just let me know if you agree with this, is that for something that's growing, you want a moon that's growing, that's waxing. And if
Right.
you want something to diminish, like a curse, you would do as the moon wanes.
That's right. That's right. Even okay, you can curse a disease. You can curse a sickness that's in your body by the waning moon.
Right.
I've never heard of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I believe that. And
I do believe that.
as well as the idea that, cursing in a way is sort of like protection. If it's a matter of protection, you got to protect yourself, and you have every right to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea that, I'm out there just slinging curses wantonly or whatever. No,
Right.
no. It really takes a lot to really piss me off and get under my skin for me to do something like that. And I'm not going to curse anybody. And now, if I do curse somebody, I'm going to put it on them. Okay. But I'm going to have really, really good reason to do it.
That's understandable.
Yeah, no, that's
Yes.
excellent. I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's either that or punch them in the face. And I think that if I just, use magic, I don't have to worry about being incarcerated.
Right.
That's right. That's right. The laws are a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's not like living in 1600 Salem anymore.
Oh my God. Could you imagine people
No.
like us living back then?
No, we wouldn't be living.
Right?
Not for very long.
Not for long. Not for long. So, no, I'm glad things have changed. I guess in Saudi Arabia, they still do persecute people for witchcraft.
Yeah. And in parts of Africa too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really, really sad and bad in some countries. I had read something, maybe you guys are familiar with it, where I think it was a country in Africa. I don't know. I remember where this goat, they believed that this goat was a witch that had transformed, and they killed the goat.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That sounds
Yeah.
like The Witch.
Yeah. Yeah, a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
The movie The
The
Witch.
movie The Witch reminds me of that.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. I just, I don't like the part about the baby. That's why I haven't watched
No.
it again.
I
the-
didn't like that either.
the baby's blood and-
He liked it. But
I did, because it reminded me of the old medieval, I don't know what you call them, but when I was growing up, we had these books that had like woodcut stories and
yeah.
stuff, like grimoires in a way, of witchcraft and what they thought of
Mhm.
witchcraft back then. And baby's blood, was always a thing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's how the witches flu. They would mix it with things like belladonna and
Belladonna, monk's hood, hensbane. There was the fat of unbaptized children was a big
Right.
ingredient, and a lot of this was from uneducated witch hunter, Inquisition type perspectives. So it was
Sure.
it was dung.
Yeah, it was with the babies for sure. But it also created a fear that grew too much, obviously, when they started persecuting them. But probably also gave them a little respect, before that too. Like people like, hey, I'm not messing with that person,
right.
Right. But those wood carvings are actually, some of them are actually quite beautiful and done very well.
I wish I still had those books. They were awesome books, actually. So the I know you have your own podcast coming up. Actually, how do people see the Wizard's Table and listen to your podcast? And who do you have coming on?
So tonight we have a pagan and an author, an Anglo-Saxon druid pagan named Alaric Albertson. He's been in the pagan scene for many, many years. And so the Wizard's Table is on RU Media Network. The letter R, the letter U, Media Network. The Wizard's Table, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So when I leave you guys' show, I'll be getting ready for that show.
Exactly. And I wanted to give you some time to be able to change over and stuff. So, and is it on every Saturday or every other Saturday?
Well, here's the thing. Originally, and we're still going to stick to this, it's supposed to be on every other Saturday. But right now, I have got this guy lined up. I've got another guy. So Alaric is on tonight. Next Saturday, I have Carolina Dean, who is a very well-known hoodoo practitioner. And then I have George Shoplin, who has been on a few episodes of Ghost Adventures.
Awesome.
And then I have a paranormal investigator who's becoming very popular named Brandon Crody. He has a show on Paraflix called Funhouse. He'll kill me. Let me see. Paranormal in the Funhouse is the name of his show. And
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming up pretty good. In the ranks. But his nickname is Fun Uniform.
Fun uniform.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So after that, we're going to go back to every other Saturday. I didn't intend to go Saturday. I wanted to be every other Saturday because I didn't want to start way up here,
We understand, yeah.
It's just the way the cards fell. And so after we get through these guys, then we'll be back to every other Saturday. But last Saturday, we interviewed Patty Negri.
Yes, I
the
heard some of that.
psychic medium from Ghost Adventures. She was great. Her energy was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
it was a
watched
great
it.
interview.
Yeah, it was a wonderful interview. Yep.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's great. I'm glad you guys are doing well. And your partner is on the podcast is Mistress B.
Mistress B.
I love her.
B-E-E.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys do a great job.
Well, thank you.
That's awesome.
The podcasting is new for me. I'll admit. I'm not, I haven't been doing podcasts. I've been interviewed a lot, but I haven't been doing the interviewing for very long. So it's still new to me. I still got a lot to learn. I admit it,
We're still learning. This
Yeah,
has been 2 years.
we've been on it for a couple of years now, and I learn things every week,
Yeah.
But the biggest lesson I had to learn is to shut up once in a while, let the guests talk. That was a big hump.
Well,
And,
what annoys me? What annoys me is when the podcast is over, and we are our own worst enemy, right?
Yes.
I'm like, my God, why didn't I ask this? I should have said this, or I should have asked that, but I didn't. So,
we understand completely.
all the time. As soon as you're done and not live, it's like, wow, oh my God.
I was ready to dive into Austin Oman Spare and
Crowley
Crowley
Spare.
and stuff, but we flew right by that. I was like,
gone.
Sound effects. Yeah.
But it's so cool. We get to cover the sigils and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, we covered the sigils. We talked a little bit about the Djinn, some of the stuff people can do to protect themselves. Even the sign of the
Yes.
cross is very powerful. The
Absolutely.
sign of the pentagram,
Mhm.
very powerful, very powerful. Now, when I make the sign of the pentagram, I like to use a 5-syllable name, an ancient 5-syllable name of God, Tetragrammaton.
mhm.
Tetragrammaton. Very powerful. Negative energies,
Nice.
like
Yeah.
parting the waters, baby.
Yeah, I mean, there's something really simple. I wanted to talk a little bit about the lesser banishing ritual. I don't want to keep you on,
Yeah, I know.
because I know you want to get
Go.
ready and all that. But I made a pretty goofy video if you want to check it out. It's only a couple minutes long.
Yeah, of
All right.
course.
So the lesser banishing ritual, just to let the listeners know real quickly, it was a ritual developed by the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of Golden Dawn, many moons ago, and still exists today in many, shapes and flavors. There's a pretty rudimentary way to do it, but I've noticed a lot of people mix different faiths in it and kind of put their own spin. I use this athame or dagger, whatever you want to call it. I've had for a long time, but it's not necessary that you do this. You can use your finger, like you're just demonstrating. You don't necessarily need to wear a black robe. I think I have a black hoodie on in the video, and that's good enough. I actually do the thing in the shower sometimes. And eventually it just becomes like in your head you're doing it, and it's still to this day, a powerful tool. So let me see if I can do this. This is going to be a new trick for me, Ken.
Yep.
We got new tools here, and we're not used to it yet. So let me go. I'm going to try to share my screen and see if I can do this. See if this comes up. Oh, okay, there it is. And I go show on stream.
Interesting.
Look how cool that is. All right,
All right.
this is kind of funny.
Yeah, it is.
Let me see if I can play it now. We got things everywhere. And by the way, if it looks like, go ahead.
Yes, a little light. So I'm going to demonstrate the lesser banishing ritual, the Pentagram. It is a ritual that was devised by the Hermetic Order of Golden Dawn. You can Google that and look into that if you're not familiar with Golden Dawn. But this is basically what you do. It's directional. It has a few different components. I'm going to perform something called the Kabbalistic Cross. I'm facing east. You begin in the east, and basically I'm going to start with the Capitalistic Cross, which is in Hebrew, but translates to thine kingdom, for the power, for the glory, eternally. Amen. Then I am going to step forward. I'm going to draw, and in my mind's eye, and the energy I'm putting into this, I'm going to draw a pentagram like this. I picture this as a blue fire, almost like an electrical charge, if you can picture almost like electricity running through the air. And I want it to resonate on like the astral plane. I want it to resonate more levels than our physical reality. So that's the energy that I put into it. I'm going to draw a protective circle to work within, turn to each direction, draw the pentagram, and then I'm going to call the archangels once I've come back to the east. The archangels are Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Ariel. When I call them, and I'm going to demonstrate this in a moment, I have a feeling, like almost a feeling like a zooming up, and I realize myself being bigger than the world, bigger than life, just bigger than space, yet still a man, immortal. And I actually feel this zooming feeling within me. It's pretty cool, and I feel energy from it. I then will bring energy from above into me, and I'll point that out, and then I finish it with the Kabbalistic Cross again. So let me begin. Again, this is in Hebrew, which translates to thine kingdom, for the power, for the glory, eternally or forever. Amen. And by the way, if the amen bothers you, you can also just say complete if you feel something, if it's too, religious sounding to you.
A shame.
It's another way to perform it. So let me start. Ata, Malkuth, Bigabura, Bigadula, Le'elam. Amen. Step forward. Yurevahe. I'm going to draw a circle. Adonai. Eheye. Agla. Before me, Raphael. Behind me, Gabriel. At my right hand, Machiel. At my left hand, the cat is playing with my athame. Ariel. Before me flames the pentagram.
Around me.
Within me shines the six-rayed star. Now, you might want to do this without cats. I did just want to give the viewers a show you how easy this is. Ata Malkut Vigabura Vigadula Le'elam. Amen. And that's it.
Cat.
That's fine.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Very nice. Very good, man.
Yeah, I
Very
was
good.
supposed to say around me flames the pentagram, but the cat kind of caught my attention. So
Yeah. And the good thing about the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, is you can add, for lack of a better term, I guess, artistic license. You can add a lot to it, and you did the very basic, and that is all you need when it comes down to it. Nothing wrong with that. I think you did a great job, and thank you for doing that.
thanks, man. Oh, no problem. I'm trying to just show the listeners things they can take with them if they're, interested in this kind of stuff. That it can seem overwhelming when you start to look into it, especially ceremonial and ritual magic can be very elaborate, and it can be a lot of work, that goes into some of those rituals. And I just wanted to show, hey, it's not that hard, I actually used to do this stuff back when I was on
Yeah.
teams and different things, and they would look at me like I had three heads. People were like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, and I wanted to thank you, and thank you for staying. I know you got to get ready for your other podcast for the Wizard's Table.
The Wizard's Table.
You can find on RU Media. So would a person just look up rumedia.com or?
Yeah, well, just go on Facebook and type in letter U, Media Network, and it'll pull it up. And scroll down and find the Wizard's Table. Or you can also go to the Wizard's Table podcast, like our page, and then you'll get notifications when we're about to go on live and stuff like that, and when we are on live. And it's interactive. It is live. Now, when we did Patty's interview, we had to pre-record some of it because she's a busy woman.
Yes.
She had to be on set and all this kind of stuff. But most of our shows are live. So
that is awesome, and we really enjoyed it. And
Now, I saw you. I subscribed to your YouTube channel. You have a YouTube channel as well, so we subscribe to that. So
we do.
The Wizard's Table.
Yeah, we
awesome.
have. That's right. We do have. I keep forgetting about that, but we have a YouTube channel as well. So, but Mistress B, she handles most of the tech because it's so hard for me to keep up with technology today. Every time you turn around, there's something new out.
I understand completely.
I mean, it took me almost a month to figure out this cell phone. But you know what? Give me circles, give me wands, give me potions, graveyard dirt, give me tarot cards, give me demons. Hey, I'm there.
And you're there, man. You're there 100%. So that is awesome. We wanted to thank you again for being on and taking the time to be on our show.
And we'd like to have you guys on together as well at one point.
Sure.
That'd be great.
I would love to do that, and I'm sure she would too. And man, we could just have a big party.
Absolutely.
That sounds good. We will absolutely do that in the future. And thank you again, Ken.
Yes, thank you, Ken.
The name of the
Thank
podcast,
you guys.
The Wizard's Table.
The Wizard's Table.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
All right. You got to get
Nothing-
ready, I know.
Nothing but love, guys.
You
Nothing
too.
but love.
Back at you. Thank you.
so much.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Blessings.
You too.
Have a great night.
You too, my friend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
There he goes. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Felt like we were keeping him too long. He's
I
getting ready to go
know.
do his own thing. And yeah, I do recommend you guys check that out. Wizard's Table with Ken Allen. Ken is just super knowledgeable, and he's a joy to talk to. He's
Yeah.
so fun, you know?
He is.
And
Really fun.
yeah, you know, I think we really pushed the envelope in a certain way. You know, the paranormal people don't always talk about these things, you know?
It's very true.
And I think it's cool, and it's absolutely a legitimate thing there. So what'd you think of the video there? The cat.
With the cat was
Yeah,
so
it's my
funny.
cat, Poe. We got two cats, a black and orange. I got Halloween cats. And
Yes.
poor Poe, actually, last weekend was in the hospital.
Critical care unit.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep, it's unbelievable. And, you know, these hospitals take on your pets, and you got to sign, like, do not resuscitate orders and that kind of stuff. And he was there from Thursday till we picked him up Sunday night. Yeah. A little guy had a urinary blockage. It's a big to-do for a cat. You know, they got to pee. So you might have known. I don't know if it showed in the video, but his butt's kind of shaved. He
Yeah,
looks a little
shaved
like a baboon or gorilla butt. Something going on over there. But yep.
Did you want to play any clips or anything and explain?
I don't know that we need to play them, but I do need to look something up here. And sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulty, so bear with me.
What do we have on next week? Got to look that up.
I know, babe.
For 2 months. So.
And I know we're kind of like out of our routine. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find that exactly.
Very funny.
Let me just look it up, okay?
All right.
All right.
All right.
Before we just start calling our things.
All right.
Actually, let me see. What is the date today? It's the 20th, right? We did Ken Allen. We have Terry Lovelace next week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the abduction story, UFO
Nice.
abduction. We love aliens too, you know. So this is a journey into the mysterious
Unknown.
and then certainly the paranormal. So we cover a lot of bases here, folks.
We're starting a research project.
That's right. We've got a research project coming up that it's pretty big to do. We don't want to, you know, we've been kind of teasing a little bit. Started teasing it last week, and I don't want to say too much about it. But something big is coming. Something wicked this way comes. I always love the title of that. You know, yeah, we've got a lot going on, and it's been a lot of work to even and get to this point. You know, put this place together, the studio, and
There are so many buttons.
we got a lot of gadgets going on here now. This is just crazy.
There's a TV, there's
Yeah.
laptops, there's lights. I mean, there's so many buttons.
In a big old table in front of us, and it's a good sized table.
It's a
And
conference table, so when the COVID's
surprisingly,
over, we're going to have people come in and
that's right.
hang
That's
out with
right. You'll
us.
be able to sit across from us,
we have more
and
cameras coming. And
we'll do live interviews that way for people that are local or, you know, at least in town. So
Nathaniel's coming.
yeah. Our friend and brother from another mother,
That's right.
Nathaniel Gillis.
Nathaniel
He'll
J.
be here.
Gillis.
Yeah.
The
The Nathaniel. And yeah, that's what's going on. So we covered some sound clips last week with the spirit box session that we did in January, and you know,
It's
as
just
previously
insane.
mentioned probably 100 times,
Yeah.
we took a big break, and you know, we just did this 15-minute broadcast, but I do have those loaded. So if you didn't catch last week's show, I can provide a little clippage for this week. I'll just repeat something that
Our
we
thing
played.
is you need headphones to listen to this. Well, listen to
It helps, but you know,
Yeah.
this one I'm going to play. I think we'll go with like 24 because
Oh, yeah.
it's really, really clear. you're going to hear the voice with or without headphones. I just hope it's loud enough and test this. So hopefully it goes. We ask how many spirits are around us, or how many are there, something like that, and then consciousnesses.
Yes, how many consciousnesses?
Consciousnesses. and and we got a reply twice, and it says 24. So listen for that, and on our ghost box here. And it's not playing. Uh-oh.
So many buttons.
Oh, you know what I'm worried about here? Is the coffee. There it is. So, yeah. I also work in here during the week, and I actually spilled some coffee on the slider.
Here it is.
Besides Clifton and I, how many consciousnesses?
24.
Yeah, that clip is nuts. Well, we had a few clips, but I'll play one more, and then we'll wrap it up. I think Joe can get ready out there. Joe Montalo, I want to give a big shout out to, and the United Public Radio Network for having us on, and UFO Paranormal Network. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
You guys can find us on there. You can find archives of our shows, special episodes too. If you join in the membership on YouTube, United Public Radio, search that out on YouTube, and there's a join button. Just smash that join button.
Smash that button.
And join, and you'll have access to all kinds of, I guess, really cool things from all the hosts.
Yeah.
On the United Public Radio Network, who are our friends and allies out there.
That's right.
So, all right, we're gonna leave you guys with one last clip. This is the clip. Paul.
Paul. Oh,
I have it actually
game.
in two ways.
I call it the blame game.
The blame game. That's right. And somebody was.
They were running their fingers through the back of my head, like my hair, and I can't stand it. And I was getting really upset, so I asked the question, who is running their fingers through my hair? And you hear...
Not me.
Then you hear, Harry.
Then you hear...
Paul.
It was Paul.
It was... Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Paul. And then you hear, Paul.
It's like a total of 6 Pauls.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play this 2 ways for you guys. The first way is just untouched. This is just the radio going and my recorder. And then I'm going to play it with a little bit of noise reduction so you can make out the words even better.
Who just ran their fingers through my hair?
I think we're on a little hot with that, but I am having trouble with the sliders where I spilled some coffee. All right, so I'll try this with the noise reduction. This is just some of the static removed.
Who just ran their fingers through my hair?
And that's it. And that's all.
My dining room.
That's your dining room. And it's a very haunted location. Haunted Eats at Kristen's. Should open a restaurant.
I actually want to buy it outright and make a bed and breakfast.
Yeah,
That's what we want to do.
That is the paranormal dream.
Historical society. Yeah.
But that's all we've got for this week. Next week we've got Terry Lovelace,
That's right.
a UFO abductee, and he's got an amazing story, and it's going to be awesome. So be here next Saturday from 4 to 6 Eastern, 3 to 5 Central, and we'll see you then. Thanks. You from Bigfoot and the Bunny. Have a great week.